What's up guys, I'm back with another video here with Alien Earth reaction to episode 8 in the series, the season finale. The episode starts at the beach. We see Arthur's corpse with a crab on his chest over the chestburster wound. The adult Xeno comes by, the body probably trying to track down the chestburster. The crab raises its claws ready to fight the Xeno, which is pretty funny. Next we see the Xeno making its way through the forest. The Xeno covers a lot of ground on the island. We cut to Dane. She makes her way to the gravesite of the kids. She places flowers at the kids' graves, and she stops at Marcy's. The Xeno lurks in the trees. She turns and sees the Xeno behind her. It smells her, but doesn't attack. So they're looking at each other for kind of like a prolonged period. It doesn't kill her, so there's something going on there, I'm not too sure. The Xeno gets shot in the face. The Xeno runs away. Siberian and Rashidi come running to her aid, and they lead her back to the facility. So here I noticed that the gunshot comes from the front, and it hits the Xeno around the forehead area, but Siberian, Rashidi, and the other soldiers, they come running in from behind the Xenomorph. So, which is a bit odd. I don't know what's going on with that specific situation. And it looks like they didn't use a deadly round that could cause the damage to the Xenomorph because no acid was spewed onto Dane. We see a shot of the Xenomorph running amok, doing Xeno things, killing randos. And there's a lot of blood. There's a lot of just dead bodies all over the place. The Xeno is unstoppable. And we're reminded that the Xeno still kills humans. And it's not a safe, it's not a pet, essentially. Yeah, so from there, the hybrids were taken back to the facility and placed in a holding cell. We hear the voice of Adam, who's narrating over a few different shots. It wasn't designed for synthetics, the holding cell, and we have zero containment on the adult Xenomorph. Containment on the other creatures is good for now, but we are understaffed. I wonder why. They're all dead. I think you should consider evacuating, he says. And Boy K watches recordings of the synths. The sheepocalypse makes a sound to get his attention because now the sheepocalypse is in the office of Boy K. I wish I could hear your voice, the things you've seen. That really would be an interesting conversation. He has Wendy on the security monitor in the holding cell. We see Hermit and Morrow are in another holding cell. We cut to Curly. I'm the favorite. I shouldn't be in here. Nibs. Maybe it's because you snitched. So they go back and forth about who snitched. Then the conversation turns to who's Boy K's favorite. Wendy explains Peter Pan. Wendy was the favorite, then she grew up, and that made Peter mad, so he kidnapped her daughter Jane. Wendy, we're all in this cell because we can't be kids anymore, but they won't let us be adults. Nibs, we're all ghosts. Wendy, what do ghosts do? Smee, they haunt houses. Wendy, all this time we've been afraid of them. I think they should be afraid of us. Boy K watches Wendy on the monitor. He sees Wendy calling out to the Xenomorph and instantly regrets having her learn the alien language. Cut to the monitors and security camera go blank. Boy, Kirsch, the security feed is down. Are the creatures tucked in? Kirsch, we're on our own power supply down here. Boy, and the cyborg? Kirsch, in the holding cell with the brother. We can see Wendy listening in on their communication. Kirsch, it's risky. Yutani, she'll come for him. As far as we know, the ships are on the way. Boy, he came here to kill us all and steal our toys. Then Wendy creates radio interference between their communication. Kirsch says something about ADHD medication and impulse control. But before he could complete his message, the conversation gets broken up and eventually gets cut off. Boy, just to be safe, I think I'll feed you someone weak. So we're getting closer to the Oculus transferring hosts. We don't know who it'll be at this point, but it's fun to guess who will be the new host for the T-Oculus. Cut to Siberian Rashidi. They escort Dame back to her office. Dame pours herself a drink. She's about to get ready for happy hour, and she's just trying to chill out, but suddenly is interrupted by Wendy, who hacks into the monitors and plays the recordings of the children before they were transferred to hybrid bodies. Dame tries to turn off the monitors, but can't. There's one recording that keeps on repeating. We'll be okay, won't we? On repeat. And she smashes the tablet on the floor. It's a true house of horrors. Is this the perfect Halloween episode? Spooky season is almost here. Unfortunately, we don't see Dame actually take a sip of the drink, which is unfortunate. I wonder what she was drinking. Maybe whiskey. We cut to Hermit and Morrow in the holding cell. Morrow has a lock around his cyborg arm and wakes up in the cell. Hermit, you shot me. Morrow, I saved your life. How's your lung? Feels good, doesn't it? Being more than human. When the corporation gives you something, there's always a price. Hermit, everything. Morrow, everything doesn't begin to cover it. We cut to Siberian Rashidi in the corridor. Comms are down. What should we do? Let's get to the armory and get the big guns. The elevator suddenly opens. Wendy is controlling it, and the squad enters. So Wendy right now is extremely overpowered. She's able to control all the security features on the network, and she's toying with all these soldiers in the facility. The squad enters the elevator. Suddenly, the elevator stalls and self-destruct alarm sequence is initiated. Cut to Smee counting down. The hybrids watch on the monitor. The squad is panicked. Wendy, watching the chaos, scrolls through the camera feeds. She sees Hermit. He chose them, she says. And then Smee replies, he's one of us. Then we hear some voiceover. Letter from Marcy to Joe, who's on deployment. She's undergoing radiation treatments. So we get more background on their relationship. Wendy unlocks the cell of Morrow and Hermit. Then Morrow attacks the guard. Hermit says, I'm going to save the ones I can. Morrow replies, you better save the children because I'm going to burn this place to the ground. We cut to Kirsch in the lab. Morrow enters while Kirsch is working at the table. So this scene is an epic fight scene, and it's a scene that I've been waiting for, like even more so than Nibs freaking out and beating people up. I feel like the Kirsch, the synth cyborg battle, this is what I've been waiting for. So yeah, this scene was pretty hype. Morrow enters while Kirsch is working at the table. Morrow attempts to sneak up behind him. Kirsch senses this and quickly turns around and shoots Morrow. But Morrow deflects the bullet with his cyborg arm. At first, I thought he dodged it, but the action happens so fast, you have to really pay attention that he raises his arm and deflects the bullet. So this throwdown, this is the fight scene I've been waiting for. It's a short but pretty awesome fight scene. Morrow slams Kirsch into the table, splitting it in half. It's like a scene from WWE. I would have liked to see a morphing arm from Morrow, however, because we've seen it in the past where it was a knife and, you know, he's able to change it pretty quickly. But I guess in this fight he was using it more as a club to kind of like smash things and destroy things rather than cut. Morrow quotes John Henry. I had to look this up. So what he was essentially saying was, it's American folklore, the legend of John Henry, essentially a story about human versus machine. When the railroad company introduces a steam drill to speed up construction of the Big Bend tunnel, John Henry challenges the machine, stating he can beat it with his own two hands. Yutani, the Younger's troops are already on their way, and On her behalf, I reclaim what is rightfully ours. One of the specimens breaks from their containment. Morrow is distracted, and Curse takes the opportunity to trip Morrow and chokes him. Like UFC. It's one of the newer creatures, which we haven't seen much of. We cut to the hybrids watching the fight from the holding cell. Wendy calls the Xeno. Boy K visits the hybrids at the holding cell. Wendy snaps her fingers, unlocks the cell. Boy K, the look on his face is hilarious. He walks into the cell. Here we get a little bit of background on Boy K. He says his daddy was a drunk, and to this troglodyte, a boy genius destined to rule the world. I had to Google troglodyte. A person who lived in a cave. A person regarded as being ignorant or reactionary in their views. It's an insult. My first synth, I was 6. I made him a grown man. My daddy came home from the factory and there was my synth. Boy's first synth is Adam. Nibs, we don't belong to you. Boy, you're floor models. Nibs attacks the guard and basically beats him to a pulp. There's blood everywhere. Then Wendy tells Boy to run, and all the hybrids walk towards him, and they exit the holding cell. Wendy says, hide and seek, you remember? Nibs, find Sylvia. I'll take care of Boy K. Smee and Slightly find the cyborg. Curly, you get the soldiers. And then Curly says, Jane, my name's Jane. And then Wendy says, nobody touches my brother. Cut to Hermit. He's at Marcy's room. Adam is there. Adam. Mr. Hermit, I've been looking for you. Mr. Cavalier asked me to find you personally. He has a proposal he'd like to make. Adam leads Hermit to Cavalier's office. Cut to Smee and Slightly. Smee, you think he's still there? Slightly. Who? Smee. Arthur. We just left him. Slightly. Don't think about it. Smee. We did a bad thing, Slightly. And then Slightly says, it's not our fault. They made us. Cut to the corridor. Xeno and the soldiers are facing off. We cut to Sylvia looking out the window at the rain, pondering her life choices. Nibs drops into her room from the ceiling and surprises her with a big smile. We cut to Kirsch in the lab. Slightly and Smee show up, and Kirsch is on the ground, crawling. Where were you 2 minutes ago? Kirsch thinks they're there to help him. He hands them some cable to tie up Morrow, but they end up tying up Kirsch. Smee, your time is done. It's our time now. Morrow says to Slightly, he didn't hurt his mother. Slightly hits him with something and he falls asleep. Cut to Adam and Hermit. He walks Hermit to Boy K's office. It's the room with the sheepoculus. The container is open and empty. Hermit turns and sees the sheepoculus. The T-Oculus jumps at Hermit. I like how it bungees everywhere like a Spider-Man. Wendy breaks into the room and drops the Oculus. Adam fights with Wendy. This is a cool fight scene again. It's a synth versus hybrid. The Oculus attempts to, again, get to Hermit, but Wendy kicks it away. Wendy is able to freeze Adam before he can get to her. Since he's on the network, she can control him like the cameras. The Oculus escapes the room. So this is the first time Hermit and Wendy meet after the boat incident. Marcy, I'm sorry about Nibs. I didn't have a choice. Nibs was hurting my friends. Wendy, you want to know why I like them? Referring to the aliens. They're honest. Hermit, they're predators. We're food to them. Wendy, no, you're food to them. I don't know what I am. I'm not a child. I'm not a grown-up. I'm not Marcy. I'm not Wendy. I can't be what everyone wants me to be. And then she says, don't say complicated. That is what powerless people say to make doing nothing okay. And I'm not powerless. Cut to Boy K skipping through the facility. The Xeno confronts him. Guards come in. Wendy orders the Xeno to attack the soldiers. Cut to Rashidi and Siberian at the specimen lab. The specimens are loose. Siberian gets eaten by one of the species dangling from the ceiling. It's like one of those death plants that fold up, or like a Venus flytrap or something. Rashidi gets hit in the face by Curly, so Curly is there at the lab. Then we cut to the beach. Arthur's corpse is on the beach. The Teoclus shows up and makes its home in Arthur's body. We cut to Yutani's ships approaching the island. Cut to the holding cell. Boy, Kay, Kirsch, Adam, Sylvia, and Morrow are now in one holding cell. Wendy, you're not Peter Pan. You decided to hate everybody just like your daddy. Boy, you're gonna let her talk to me like that? Talking to Adam. The xenomorph is hanging on the outside of the cell with the baby xenomorph. So now there's two. What do we do now? Now we rule. Hermit looks worried. And that's it. That is episode 8, season finale of Alien Earth. What a ride. From the beginning to end, this whole series has been definitely a refreshing take on Alien universe and the Alien story, and to see all the corporations and more new corporations, and it really expands on the universe, which is super awesome. I'm waiting for season 2. I don't know about you, but I hope they renew it. I don't think there's been any news yet, but how could you not renew a show like this? It's just, they put so much into the production values of this whole season that it would be a shame if they didn't continue it. Fingers crossed, Alien Earth season 2. All right, thank you all for watching. Feel free to subscribe for more Alien Earth reaction videos and just reaction videos for TV and movies. Thanks for watching. It's something new that I'm trying to add to my channel. I feel like it's something that I want to do more of. I want to do more reactions, so feel free to subscribe, and thanks.